Well, there's all sorts of strange things going on. If one was in any way conspiratorially minded, right, one would think that we were being obstructed in some way. Elsa is having problems down in Australia connecting. They've had an outage there. Her husband Richard is furiously trying to reconnect us. I don't know whether anyone can see this, but let's have a look on my phone. Let's see. Oh, it says live. There's all sorts of things going on. There we go. So I can see that I'm on this special occasion. It's me birthday. And today, and God knows how I've got to this age, I'm 69 Earth years of age. 69. To some, that's a special number. To me, it represents Elsa. Don't worry, can't be helped. Can't be helped. You keep going. I'll go till about 9:30 and see what we do, what happens. Thank you, D. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I've just gone on and gone live, and it said I do not have permission to go live. So I had to close everything down again and start from scratch, and basically it's a sort of like me life, really. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to sit here and see what emerges and look at the comments. But thank you so much. I've had loads and loads and loads of happy birthday messages so far, and I do appreciate that very much indeed. I won't be individually answering them all because I'd like to, but you know what? I haven't got enough time. There doesn't seem to be enough time to do the things that need to be done with any quality, really. And that's where I'm up to in my life. I'm at a stage where I only really want to do what I want to do at depth, the feeling I have at depth. And what is that? Well, it's to share my experience, my strength, and my hope with people. And basically, in a simple way, is yeah, blowing out 69 candles, I know. And I'm resisting the urge, to go down the 69 route. But to me, 69 represents two fishes, Pisces, and as far as I see it, this today is the last day of the astrological year, and it's basically the last day of winter. And I was born the 19th of March, 1955. I was born apparently 6 weeks premature. I weighed 4 pounds, and I had respiratory distress, scoliosis, congenital hip dysplasia, and all sorts of other wonderful things. And even then, I was lucky to keep going. But you know what? Tough luck on you lot because I did. And I'm still recorrecting or correcting all those things that were misaligned. And I think more than anything else now, I see that the purpose of my hello, Alison, my love. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, the purpose of my life seems to be, and maybe the one that I chose before I came here, the adventure, the hero's journey, whatever you want to call this thing. I see that I chose really to undergo this whole addiction thing and to come close to, popping off again and going back home and to choose a different story. But, I managed to survive, and it will be in 2 weeks' time. Well, actually, in about 10 days' time, it will be 32 years. I've been telling everybody 33, but I was telling lies, not purposely, but it'll be 32 years since I've had a drink of alcohol or any other mind-altering substances in order to take away any emotional disturbance. So that's what I see it now. I see the whole purpose of my life as far as I see it, and this might change if Elsa gets on, and I hope she does, but if she doesn't, oh well, that's the way that it is. People say that, it is what it is. Yeah, well, okay, it is what it is. What are you gonna do about it? That's my attitude now is it's all very well saying, because I can see that acceptance of the situation is the key. Thank you very much, Carol, my love. acceptance is the key, but then, you can choose to try and do something about it then, rather than just saying, oh, well, that's the way that it is. So, I do think, and this is just me waffling on, but I do feel that there's always a choice to be made, and to help us. And there are certain principles that if we work to them, right, and feel our way into them, there's always a correct choice to be made. And I think that's going forward with an open and flowing heart. Apparently, that's the compassionate way to go forward. Um, but I don't get into all that, I'm caring, I'm compassionate. It's just if it feels correct to me, then I'll take the action, and it seems to be working out. Because all this stuff about, and this is just me explaining it, the way I see things about higher vibrations, lower vibrations. I won't deal with lower vibrations. Well, I don't see it like that. Thank you very much, Sita. That's very kind of you. I don't see it like that. What I see is that sometimes we have to go down to come back up again. It's like a wave, really. And I think it's waves. This is how my head goes, it's waves, it's particles, it's this wave particle duality, but in order to come out of this duality, maybe we've got to just sort of detach completely with love and just observe, just sit, observe in that sort of like a still neutral point, for by this time we have ceased fighting anybody or anything, and there's lots of absolutely fantastic things happening in my life, but there's also the human side as well, which is difficult sometimes. So that's where I'm up to. Let's see what's going. Shaz, hiya, Shaz, love. I hope you're keeping well. One day I will come over and have that cup of tea with you. I look forward to that. I hope you're keeping well. You and I, we share that same that same sense of humor, and I'm still getting into trouble. When I go over to the university, it's really, really difficult for me to keep me gob shut. Because as my mother would say, you like the sound of your own voice, you. And that's true. Hello, Margaret. Thanks very much, Margaret. And happy birthday to you a couple of weeks ago. You've got a couple of weeks on me there. So yeah, John, thanks very much, John. Sir. Oh, I like that. You can call me sir. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. I wake up with a clean sheet in my mind. Um, I don't assume that I know what's going on, because most of the time I think I know what's going on. And at the end of the day, I can clearly see, looking back, that I've really got no idea at all what's going on, because things are changing that quickly, you know. And I just have to feel my way from one moment to the next. And I didn't realize that I was so disconnected or dissociated from my body and from my feelings. So one of the biggest things I've learned is, and it's very simple, really, is it's simple to say, but not so simple to do, is that if we remain centered and grounded, and I think I thought I was grounded, you know, but I see now that my physical feet were on the ground, but energetically I was completely and utterly disconnected. I didn't understand anything about energy dynamics, energy homeostasis, and stuff like that. So I was sort of led right to the point where my mind was cleared, and I was given the ability, one step at a time, to feel my way into how maybe I should choose and how I should act, because in the end, some people call this the prison planet. It's almost like a correctional facility. And I see that sometimes, but if I chose it, right, that part of the correction is to realign with my essential self, which is connected to the great central sun, source creator, God Almighty, the omniscient, omnipresent, and that other omni one. What's that other omni one? No, I can't remember. It's all omni. Yeah, so that's where I'm up to. I've got loads and loads and loads and loads of friends. You know, Billy, hiya, mate. Happy Christmas. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, it's just to me, it's about realigning with my essential self because I really thought that I knew what was going on, and quite clearly, looking back, I didn't have a clue, And this was the big duping, really. And I think in some way we've been duped because in some way, at some level, we've allowed this to happen. And whether we set this up for ourselves in order to get closer to universal consciousness, I don't know. I don't know whether anybody really knows clearly. I think that we all see a small bit, we all have a glimpse of how it is. And I suppose that if we all shared that as honestly as possible, right, then we get an idea then of the bigger picture, really. And one of my biggest things was I didn't realize how deluded I was and how much in denial I was. And for years and years and years, I used to justify my actions, point the finger outwards and say, if only you would behave in this manner, then hello, Gillian, my love. Thanks very much. Nice to see you. Yeah, if only you lot out there would behave in the manner that I see that you should behave, then the world would be a better place. And I met somebody who was quite clear in putting me back in my place, really, and saying, well, that's called playing God, isn't it? That's you with some idea of how everybody else should behave, right? And you can't even do it yourself. Oh, good God. Things come on here to say somebody called Elsa Dillon has entered the waiting room. I'm sorry if I've just bored you with all that, but let's let Elsa in. Okay, there we go. There she comes, walking down the street. The monkeys. Hello. Ah, aha. Oh, that's great. You're on mute. Oh, no, you're not now.
Hi.
Oh, have
Happy
you slept in
birthday.
or something?
Oh,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I've
Just
just bored them with all me going off, me ramblings. I've been rambling on while we were waiting. Thank you, Richard,
that,
for that.
oh, poor Richard. I was like, I'm not trying to rush you, but I'm not trying to
Yeah,
rush you, but he's going, go away. Go
yeah.
away and do something.
I'm the same. If my wife asks me to do something, she'll keep popping in to see if I'm doing it properly. Right. I have to say, excuse me, excuse me. Or in the end, it gets to the stage where I say, do it yourself. So
Yeah, I
there we
got,
go. There seems to be some sort of interference going on in all sorts of different levels for some reason. Any ideas?
uh, I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm just going, as long as everyone's healthy and then everything gets done through the day, and then you just go,
I agree.
yeah,
Just breathe.
yeah,
How
yeah.
important is that? That just a relaxed breath
Mm.
and a big sigh. Sometimes that just clears the path, doesn't it, really? For us to think more
Yeah,
clearly, to choose what we need to do next. I've become like a preacher overnight.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been full on over here in the jolly old UK, and I have a sense of, although I'm not predicting anything, I have a sense of it might get even more confusing and chaotic, but it's a good job. We know how to keep level.
yeah, yeah. Well, we've had some really amazing things happen, and that I was told when this happened that great abundance would come for many, not just our family. So um, uh, the kids said, since this has happened, I'm calmer. I said, I'm not as I feel more at peace. Um, it's hard because we do beat ourselves up as humans.
We do.
We do. We do. We really do beat ourselves up. And I didn't even realize that I was beating myself up. But they've said that I'm at peace now. So,
I think
and
that
this is
that's.
it.
Oh, sorry, Elsa.
Yeah, it's just for your own kids, and they're little still. They say, and they're talking, they talk amongst themselves, and they said, Mum, since Valentine's Day, Mum has been so calm. And I am calm. It's not about the abundance I'm calm, it's about the peace. The peace is calm. And peace is freedom. Oh, it's so. Peace, freedom. Freedom from your mind and freedom from others' minds. It's just, yeah. And the fact that it's your birthday, you're born free. We're all born free. What is this about where someone owns us? I don't even think we own us. Like the way things have been going on, and it has increased for all of us. I know, I can feel it from everyone. Is that it's bigger than us. The whole thing is way bigger than us, way, way bigger. And the dovetailing, the synchronicities, this is what's going on for everyone, and it's building and building and building. The telepathy, the connecting, it's way bigger than us. And to think that ourselves are little me, uh-uh.
I agree. The most important thing in my life is my emotional sobriety. You know, I was just saying to everybody before that in a couple of weeks, it's 32 years since I've had a drink of alcohol or any other mind-altering substance to change my emotional state, and I've learned a lot about these things. But I knocked up a formula because POM, which stands for peace of mind, is inversely proportional to expectations. And to just explain that is that the more expectations I have of how things are going to turn out, the less peace of mind I've got really. And so if I have no expectations and it's directly related to the amount of trust I have in this deeper part of myself, then I feel much more calm, much more clear, and I don't have to, my head's not jumping from one hemisphere to the other, trying to find some sort of solution. And what I found that most people, including myself, I was always looking to the other side and weighing up, shall I do this? Shall I do that? What about this? What about that? What will they think of me? They think I'm bad. They think I'm good and all that. And that was going on all the time there. And I see now that in order to get out of that, you can't introduce more thinking. So, if I go and read a book and look for an example from the book and try and, apply more instructions that have come from somebody else, then I'm still on the wrong path. This is just the way I explain things. So it was shown to me that rather than focus on your thinking, your cognition or your cognitive bit, come into your heart and focus on a deep feeling. And almost by accident, you will forget yourself temporarily. And in forgetting yourself, right, the solution will be given to you or it will emerge. So look at that. I've become like the Pope now, a preacher. So the solution's here, it's here. But I think that we have to, the way I see it is body, mind, soul, spirit. You see, I see this the soul. It's the soul that's got the answer, really, because each individual soul does have a purpose. You know, it's got an agenda. The soul has an agenda, but God hasn't, or spirit hasn't. So we go in, the agenda is our perfect frequency, right? And if we align with that perfect frequency, then everything becomes effortless effort then. And that's the way it seems to work with me now, that if I'm feeling emotionally disturbed, I'm out of alignment with my energetic signature, which is my soul signature. I know that you understand that. I don't know whether it's making sense, but it's a feeling. And I don't get into my higher self and my lower self. I get into my deeper self, the deepest feeling that I have. I try and allow that to sort of move me. That's the motivating force that comes from deep within me. So it's not coming down from some sort of hierarchical point of view. It's emerging from the depths. Got no idea what this is about, but I'm sure you'll have something to say about that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that continual having to let go. Oh, let go of that, let go. And you think that you've let go, and you go, oh, there it is again. Really? Another thing? Like how much letting go we've all had to do. And, like, you know, if you're only getting awakened in the last few weeks, I'm feeling a little ripped off because what? How come they got it faster? But you know, everyone. I know. Look, everyone has a journey, and I'm just playing now because you know. But I hear these people that are getting awakened really quickly, and I'm like, really, 3 decades? Are you kidding me? But it's okay. It's okay. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just being silly about it. It's just funny because you just go, wow. But Valentine's Day to this special day today and tomorrow is I've had these days marked for a long time. I'm not big on dates. I mean, I am big on dates for the stamp or the alignment, and sometimes the alignment can be quite off by weeks. But this one, the how agitated our family has been today, their energy, it's been like the power. It's been agitated, which is what you said as well. I felt this agitation. And they're not even angry or upset. It's just like, and if it's happening with electricals, it's happening over there with you, and it's happening with our kids. So this is all different age groups. And, you know, I've seen a couple of the cats swiping each other. A few chickens are really pecking at the other chicken. So, you know, and, you know, a lot of the wild birds are like having, you know, a bit of a spurt with each other. And then, but then it's not, this is not going all day. It's just like little, like electrical charges. So, I'm going to say this is preparing for the equinox tomorrow, the equal phase. And a lot of cultures believe that it's the new year tomorrow as well. So we have it as the gift day. And this gift that our family has been granted started back on the 14th, on the day of love.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been very amazing, unexpected, amazing, and
I made up because I, you know, because I sense energies like you do. I sense the change in your energy, and you know, I watch a lot of the shows that you do, and I could sort of sense this, and a deeper emotional sort of thing going on as well, and almost like a clearance at depth, you know. And the word I got was a flushing, you know, and then I got flushing meadows, and then I got, but this is happening globally now as well, Joe. And then what my mind, my deepest mind, or this intuitive self, innate intelligence, sends pictures of, is really, I got the link between royalty, and I know lots of people are going on about this, but I seem to be getting it as well. But I got, Joe, it's about bridge. The game of cards is called bridge. So it's about bridge. It's all about bridging. There's more than one bridge, right? And I got, these are the bridges that reconnect your hemispheres. So east is east and west is west. And now the twain are now being reconnected now. So as these reconnections come in, there'll be an expansion of consciousness. But I also got in the material world, this 3D world, you know, that we are basically in, right? There's a royal flush taking place. And I think, okay, well, explain to me. And then I get this thing about Catherine, then I get this Kate thing, and then I get Diana, and I get all these things, and I say, well, why are you telling me this? I mean, what's it got to do with me? I say, just say what you're experiencing, and other people might be able to identify with it. And then watch now what actually happens and manifests now in this 3D world, you know, because you will be given then the confirmation that there's more going on in the invisible realms than you can possibly realize until it's realized, you know. So this is materialization, you know, and the Hebrews apparently, you know, and I don't know whether, and I said to you a long time ago, I don't want to fool myself anymore, Elsa, you know, because I've fooled myself for a long time, but I don't want to be fooling anybody else either. I just say it as it is, or how I consider the way that I see things, and I just try and express it now. And that seems to help people, to be a bit more, if you like, honest with themselves. And I think you can start to get honest with yourself. But I only got honest with myself by sharing my truth with somebody else. This is the thing, because if I use my own thinking to come to solutions, right, especially on important things, sometimes I can get it completely wrong because I'm still at some level being sort of motivated by fear. Fear and pride, they're the two things that are really, really sneaky. So I have a group of people, and I count you. I could get on in touch with you and say, look, I'm going through this process. This is what I'm thinking. And you'd probably say to me, behave yourself, right? You're way off track there. And there are some people I trust to be able to do that with me. So to share this thinking with somebody else, a human being, I think that's all part of the process as well of being honest completely at depth. I'm just going on about this stuff now, but that's where I'm up to. I want to be helpful, but I'm not here to save the world. And this is the other thing. This is where I'm up to, and if I'm wrong, I'll be corrected in time. But I'm not here to save anybody else or to save the planet as such. I'm here to find myself. And in the process of finding myself and realigning with my essential self, if anything happens secondarily to help other people, then that's the way that it is. So my primary motivation isn't to save the planet, to save anybody else, or even be helpful. It's to know myself. Good God, I'm on one. Over to you.
You're amazing. It started with a bridge here. The So it started back at the solstice for us, and I was on a Zoom with the lovely New Zealand group, and we had jackknife. Jet had an accident while I'm doing a map. Then we had major butterfly effects with this New Zealand group, huge, with hieroglyphs and with the land there and East Tar. So Jet was okay. It was his first accident, but his car was completely written off. What was interesting is I was doing mapping work for New Zealand, and I'll share a couple of the synchronicities because it is an interesting story. Gemma said, "Mum, he crashed into the pyramid hill." I went, yeah. She goes, "I'm going to go check out what crystals are in his car because he's crashed into the literal hill, right?" Anyway, he crashed into. She went down and picked out some of the stone. It's red ochre. And red ochre is what the Indigenous use to create mapping, which is the mapping I created with New Zealand, which was done through them. And the information they sent me was exactly the same name, location as where Jet had his car accident. So we found this bizarre. And I said, now you guys have to watch for the synchronicities that will happen before you now. So we had, I think it was a group of 50 one night. And then we had another meeting to debrief the meeting that we had. Because that next day, they had the whistleblower come out in New Zealand. And this was a big shock through the whole of... I don't think people have realised the changeover that was for the medical industry with this whistleblower. One, because he pinpoints the numbers at each practice, so it puts a lot of people under the gun, which, causes stress. But the thing about these New Zealanders, they're amazing. And I said, this is the warrior. We're rising the warrior within. And this is what rises the warrior within this whistleblower. The next one we had was the map. The map was pointing at Gosford glyphs, and then 2 weeks later, a day after that session, the Gosford glyphs had been well, not destroyed, but attacked kind of by the government a week before Christmas. We're talking less than 12 hours. So when people like to debate me on the butterfly effect, I go, well, I'm sorry, but this happens way too much for me to debate. All right, so now Jet has no car, and Jet's driving around, and he's very good. He's saving all his pennies. He's great. And he said, Mum, Gemma's going to help me. We're going to get another car. Anyway, this car that he got, we had to drive all the way down south. And I said, this is one of the last spots I heard Jack might be. So I said, can we make it a family trip, a day trip? And we talked to Pamela about it, and I was on Pamela's group. I said, Pamela, you wait and see the butterfly effects of this one. So we did some grounding and some weird locations down there. We had to go down to Coffs Harbour, where they want to create this as a, they have plans to create it as a mega city. It's where a lot of celebrities want to create the new Hollywood. Yeah, it's a kind of weird energy there. Anyway, we hadn't been there. Anyway, as we were driving down, all I'm seeing is pyramids. Just pyramid. I'm going. So I haven't been back there past these locations since 2011. So it's been a while. And it's interesting going back down through the land now and knowing these different things about the lands and markings and callings and feeling and ET craft. Anyway, so we did some orgons. We got some fish and chips, and it was a really nice day. Jack got his car and they put a bow on it for him. So the girls thought that was fantastic. I have to bring all the human into all this because it is human. And then Jack goes, there's no way Mum's coming back with me in my new car because she's not doing any spiritual stuff in my new car. And I'm like, Jack, you don't want to take me in the new car? He goes, no way. And I was like, okay. So I had to go back in the bus with the others, which is fine. And he goes, no, I'm not waiting for you guys either. And I went, okay. So we went and we went and did these key locations along the way that we haven't been able to do because of lockdowns and things like this. And a couple of them were bridges named Tar. And the kids are always like, why here? Why are we putting it here? Why are we doing like doing words here? Look at it. There's nowhere. And I said, yeah, I know it's nowhere, but it's great significance, this place. And I said, and I'll always ask them, can you feel it? Does it feel better when we leave? And they say, yeah. So they feel it, but when they look around, they're like, why are we here?
Yeah.
So we were selling kittens, and all the kitten people always ring up, and I said, don't answer the phone because they ask silly questions and the phone cuts out. And Richard said, this phone call, this phone number keeps calling. I'm going to answer it. I've had this calling to answer the phone. The night before, I did a clearing on the strength of jaw. And it was through Neff, and she said, you have to understand the power of prayer. And I said, I understand. She says, no, it's prayer is it's the one ray. It's the soul ray. It's you put it out there. That's what she kept saying. You got to put it out there. And so I got up. I did Richard goes, what are you doing? You were just about to get in bed. Are you getting up again? I said, I've got to do this. She's been bugging you to do it. I'll do it now. So I did it. Next morning, I woke up and there was a beautiful white feather cloud above the house, white feather. And this is have this other lady who when I speak to her, always angels appear, and always these angels always appear at that same place. I've also had the Ben bird. I think I've showed it to you. He's turned up there. I've had craft turn up there, cloud craft and light craft and the wand. Like it's like action spot in the sky. It's like so that it and so this is again comes back to the crop circles. Spots hold in energy, right? And Richard answers his phone call. It was 3 o'clock, and we say hello. And Richard goes hello, and he goes hello, Dad.
Yeah.
It's Jack. He's alive. I've heard his voice. He's alive. And we had to be tread carefully as well, so just because we didn't know his state that he was in. And he's okay. And he's very sad, as we were. And he spoke to us for like an hour, and he's been through quite a bit in the last 3 years. A lot of near deaths and things like this. So he rang us back that same day, and he said he didn't want to see us until possibly the 16th of March. And we were like, okay, whatever we can do. We still don't know how he is. He wouldn't speak. And then he rang back and he said, can you come and pick me up today on Valentine's Day? And he, the location he said that he wanted us to pick us up at was one of the spots that we put an org on 2 weeks earlier. How is this possible, Dr. Joe? How would he know this location?
Because we know, don't we, that in the invisible realms, there's so much guidance that's helping us now. That everybody's feeling this now more and more. The word I'm getting is resolution or resolution. Resolution.
Yeah.
See, now, there we go. So I'm getting, this is what I get, pat on the back of the head. Well done, son. Good word. So,
Yeah.
see, what's coming up now is emotion. What's coming up is that feeling. And resolution means that everything now, the solution dissolves, you know. So there's lots about oceanic consciousness. There's lots happening about water. There's lots happening now. It's also the 4th phase of water now, which is really, really plowing in waves now, because that's providing the cleansing and the flushing out of the obstructions that have stopped this realignment. So what I'm seeing in my mind now, it's almost like string theory, but it's also different frequencies of light now that are coming in. And it's a bit like that, really, where they're all going, zoom, you know, and that's happening right across the globe. It's a universal thing. It's happening, you know, right in the universe, not just this universe, but it's happening from source itself now, right? And it's almost as if, and you've mentioned this before, is we're coming out of one phase or one stage where we probably couldn't get any lower in terms of how humans act. So we're being moved up now into the next yuga and back on the path of light and the golden path now. So it's happening for everybody, you know. And the thing about it, though, I feel is to trust this process, you know. And it's not to not have any expectations, but it's just to realize that it will happen in a sequence, right? That we can't as human beings see. So there's a part of us that's above us, a supervisor, which means an onlooker, you know, a supervisor.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bit like on Star Trek where Geordie LaForge, he had all these sort of things right round his head. So he had 360-degree vision, really. And I think we have to trust that part of us to give us the impetus to take the action to put things back into place. I know that you know what I mean, But it's just for anybody listening. How do we get to that? Well, it's very, very simple, really. And this is what I realized. Just become aware of your breathing. Because once you can settle and allow the breath to breathe you, and when you practice this, you'll start to understand it. And what I say to people is hold your breath for as long as you can. You know, some people I say hold your breath for 10 minutes and do us all a favor. But hold your breath for as long as you can, and then eventually your breath will breathe you. And if you can tune into the breath breathing you, that's where your deepest part of you, or the spirit, the essential part of you, is actually then guiding you. And if you can tune into that feeling, I sense that you will be guided in a way, not that your head will understand it, but you'll be guided in a way of reconnection, really. I just want to talk about tar, because I keep getting tartaria, and when you get tartaria, and that to me again is that sort of split in the middle, but one's going one way, one's going the other way, really. But I got a word when I was listening to a talk that you were doing, and you were talking about tar, and you were talking about cosmic dust, or at least that's what I saw. And cosmic dust, the word came to me, panspermia. Panspermia. I didn't know what it meant, so I went and looked it up. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating because it believes that it's stardust, basically. And the stardust, right? This is how I see it in my mind. The stardust actually lands on a planet, but the planet's got to be ready first before the stardust actually activates and starts. So I got all these pictures, and it took me back to that film, Avatar, and stuff like this. And so, Elsa, I'm sort of being shown how everything works. I don't fully understand it, but I get in the end, Joe, this is all very interesting, but just enjoy your day and make the best of it and just go from there. So I've said a lot there. I don't know whether that makes sense, but well, I get told all the time, son, we've got you covered. We've got you covered. Just keep in touch with us and we will guide you. And I can say from my own experience, sometimes it's bloody difficult. But when I look back, because you don't get the answers going forward, otherwise I dodge it really. And I think, Christ, I'm not doing that. So you get the answers looking backwards, really, to say, look, see how you got around that. Look how you applied that. Look how you did that. And I feel that if people can just do that and go into their heart of hearts, I don't call it heart, I call it the heart of hearts, and listen in with I listen in with my left ear, and I get a sense of being moved. I just tend to sort of go with that. And I'm so glad, because I sort of sensed anyway that that was going on, and I was praying for it as well, obviously, like I'm sure thousands upon thousands of other people have been doing, because you and your family are well loved, that, right? And I don't know whether you know that at depth, but you are well loved, and I'm sure that the energy of other people has maybe sort of helped that process to manifest more quickly. Anyway, I'll shut up on that because I feel like crying my eyes out.
Oh, when when he came home, he didn't look like he looked different. Um, but he was okay. We asked if he had all his body parts because we didn't know if he was going to be in a wheelchair or. He's had many restarts, literally, which the day of Jet's accident was one of them. He had a near death on that day. Same day. It's all part of the show. It's all part of the show. I know. It's all part of the show. Okay, I get it. So I'm sharing this because of the same reason that you share, is that through sharing this story, I kept saying they're tired of the sad story. This has to keep going now. It's a good story. Because if we're on show as a story that's too sad, it's the same story. And so I knew in my heart, like you said, but I didn't know how. And I didn't even know if how the next time I was seeing him was in spirit. So, but either way, I had believed in the spin of each other. I believe that it's through me speaking through these interviews that has created this calling for him. And I wanted to say thank you to you, Dr. Joe, to Pamela, to Todd, to all the other people I speak to, that I would send messages and codes through the interviews, and I know he heard them. And this kept him going till now. And we haven't been, we couldn't, he's fragile. He is fragile. He's very strong though. Wow. He's big. He got bigger. So Jet and him together now are both, they're 6'5", both of them. So it's big. It's like walking between pillars. And so it, he's actually home. He stayed home. He didn't go back. He wrote this in a school project in, I think, 2021 about Tutankhamun leaving and finding out that that way wasn't right for him. He experienced it, and then he returned home. And he wrote this in a school project, which I've got on one of my blogs on Spin Beings. And he wrote this in a project. He failed the project because it wasn't from archaeologists that were recommended by the Australian school government. But that's okay. The teacher rang me and said I've had to fail because it's not compliance with the information that we're the children. I said, yeah, but he got this information from his grandfather who lived in Egypt. Yes, but that's not compliance. And I was like, of course. He said, I've had to fail him, but I just want you to know it's one of the best assignments I've ever read. And so he was, he knew the system. It's like you know the system. You just got to bend your way around it. So in a school project, which is, he foresaw this time. So the synchronicity and the timing, and 1 month now before this day, not only is it amazing, I'm meant to share this to bring hope to others. Because, yes, I'm out there now in the public, but two years ago I wasn't. 2 years ago I was just like you, a normal person. I was that one that didn't want to talk about all this. It's not that you all have to come out and talk about it, but share with others, because the story and the narrative that we have been fed through everything is rapidly failing. So the more you share the unusual with your neighbour, with your lady you walk past with the dog on the when you drop the kids off at school, the more you share, the kids saw a ghost, you start sharing all this stuff, we will all tap into spirit, the fear will disappear, and we'll get on with the show. We will all get on with the show, because this show that the narrative is still trying to push is so boring. It's just boring. This is way more exciting. The fact that Dr. Joe says what he said, the flush and the bridge and the arcing, you couldn't have been, the things that you and Pamela have said in the last month, I've gone, oh my God, if I talk to them now, they'll know straight away what's going on. They know. It's like they already know.
Well, I got a clear picture, an ancient picture of an ancient wheelchair, right? And almost like a papyrus leaf, really, and an individual sitting in this ancient wheelchair, right? And I got a clear picture of that, and I thought, I just got, well, I said, do I need to say anything? No, no. We're just showing you that everything's in place. So it's just amazing. I mean, the things that are happening in my life, it's almost like now the synchronicities aren't powerful enough. It's like, oh, there's another one. Oh, show us something more exciting than this, and stuff like that. But I got the search is over, and I say, because I say like what are you showing to me? You'll have to give me that clearer. SETI, Joe, SETI. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence is over, Joe, because we are here. I know, yeah. Look, because I get that up my spine. We are here, and it's almost like I've the plugged in behind me, so going like this, turn left now, do this, do this, and I've got no problem with that because I know that it's all us anyway. We're all connected in this great big thing, you know, and we're all it's almost like an electrical reinstallation, like Richard was doing before, that we've been cross-circuited, our fuses have blown, and we've been the wires now, the old ones are being stripped out, and there's a new rewiring going on to reconnect all the information because I see that energy is information and information is energy. And we've been, for various reasons, we've been misdirected and misled. And therefore, the energy hasn't been flowing in the correct lines. So this is working along the right lines, and it's as these new connections come in, new streams of information will come in, right? And we'll just start to understand more rather than having to rack our brains what's it's all about. We have to basically get our heads out of the way so that the streams of information will come in and we'll be able to see more clearly. My big thing, Elsa, is that theoretically and all that, it's all very interesting, but how can people tune into this, right, more effectively? Because that's my big thing is, what do people have to do in order to tune in? And I'll tell them what I was told is, once again, is just become aware of your breathing, but breathe from the heart center. And I do that one, I think I've said it before, is cradling the sacred child. And what's one hand on your tummy, one hand on your heart, as though you're snuggling a child, and allow the child's heartbeat and your heartbeat to start beating together, and then miracles will happen. If you can just do that, if you can just get over yourself, right, and just give it a go, you might find that really big miracles start to happen in your life.
And yes, and it was through the believe in the greater, believe in not the greater of me, but the greater of everything. Believe in the greater. Believe in Sue. Believe in that ET we saw, and believing in the messages we got, and believing in the things that are happening before us. Believing, sharing, and interacting with others, and then doing the same again. This debriefing, and this is what's brought him home. Yeah,
Deep breathing, deep breathing, and deep breathing. I don't know what you
yes,
said.
it was the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same. Wow, it is. It's the same.
Because what I
It's
found out through my PhD was that rather than applying more stuff from the head downwards, that you can actually change, rather than change the way the mind's working, you can change the way the heart works to change the way the head works. So it's turning everything upside down, really. That's almost like symbolic of today, which is 69. And 69, I see two fishes like Pisces. But if you turn them upwards, it's almost like, a sort of a flowing system up and down and stuff like that. So I get all these sort of like pictures in my mind just to say, really, Joe, this is about flow, but there's an upflow and there's a downflow, right? And it's absolutely necessary that there's no obstruction between either the updraft and the downdraft, really. So I don't know what it means, but I know what it feels like.
well. I want to share one more thing, and then we can change the subject. But so I kept saying, Richard, I really want you to buy me this trumpet. I want a black trumpet to do toot toot by this date now. And we just couldn't do it. It just didn't happen. We couldn't do it. And then the 14th happened. The last whole week, he's been driving the black car, and every time he leaves the gates, toot toot.
Toot toot.
No one else does it, just him. I grabbed Richard's hand. He goes, "Oh no, you're going to cry, aren't you?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "You're not counting how many days he's done it." I go, "Yes." And he said he does it sometimes twice a day. So I'm
It's
just saying,
amazing.
these words that you get and these things that you do and these callings that you have, please follow them. Please. If you're in a calm state and you don't understand it, but you have a calling to go somewhere or call that person, please do it, because or go to a shop and buy something that you had to buy, but it just made no sense. But you had a calling to go and get that crystal, or it doesn't have to be spiritual. It could be anything, that red dress, or you just don't know what the cosmos has planned to align with you, and to get it to align it's been a big setup. So if you miss that alignment, it might take quite some time for the next one to come around. Like it might take another whole Mercury retrograde or another year or two. So follow your callings. That's my gift of abundance, because through this following your calling, not your husband's, not your wife's, not your child's, not your dog's, following your calling will guide you there. That's your guide. That's your compass. And nothing in schooling system, nothing anyone else says to you can take that calling away from you. That's your sense, and it really works. It really does work, but you have to do it. You have to act it. That's what we're here to do.
And I think more and more people will get to a state of, what's this all about? Oh, F it, F it. I'm going to do this because I've always wanted to do this anyway, right? So they take the first action and then everything starts to flow in, right? These streams all come in. And I see a torrent now. There's a torrent coming, and it's like the tsunami effect, really. But I agree with you. It's not your ego's desire now. We also almost have to like take our heads off and throw them away. This is the soul's desire. And I think what's actually happening is, with these solar flares that we're partly responsible for, as the torrent increases, as these solar flares, as more and more people get to thine own self be true. So thine own self means not anybody else's self. So anybody else's self will have been all that shit that we've been fed over the years, and it's basically obstructed our true essential self. Well, I think what's happening now is the pressure's being applied from the other way around now. It's blowing all this stuff off. Everything that we've learned for the benefit of others is being kicked out of the way now. And if we can it's like the trumpet, it's the clarion call, it's like the trumpet call of da, 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 pay attention, because here's the solution, right? So I agree entirely with you. We're being almost like forced to let go of everything that doesn't serve us, if you like. And and in that process of letting go, we will get clearer information. And it's almost like it's surfing the waves, really. I couldn't agree more. I've got a big thing now, about ancient languages and stuff like that, because I think words can be used, right, to actually misdirect us. And I think we've been misdirected by words for a long, long time now. But it's not the words as such, it's the tones of the words. And I've got this thing about, because I get this thing that comes through. I call so I'm saying there's like two of me going on there. That's coming from a different place, that one. But when I get that one, I'm getting, is this ancient Egyptian? And I get, no, Joe, it's the root of ancient Egyptian. Well, where's it coming from then? Right. And I get all this. This is all a combination of, but it's to do with omotic language. I said, I don't know what that means. What do you mean, omotic? Right. And it's apparently Afro-Asian language that's based on Coptic language that goes back thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. So these ancient voices that come through me, they're basically, the more I practice it, it's almost like the more clarity I get in my mind. So there's more and more people. A few years ago, because I've been doing this for a long time, right? And people used to think, oh, he's cracking up again. But I've seen now, really, more and more people are allowing these different tones to come through. As they allow it and they get a full voice, so that it's a vocation. Vocation means calling. Calling is to do with the voice. If you can express yourself fully, because I see this thing here, the throat, it's like a flute, and depending on where you actually blow it from, produces a different tone, which is a different resonance. It's resounding. The resounding then resonates with ancient buried tones. As those tones start to come through and you start to either sing them or speak them, right, they will open up and de-obstruct the channels. So this is a flushing effect using vibrational medicine. So again, it's about energy, it's about frequency, it's about realignment, but you've sort of almost like got to get over yourself and just allow it to start coming out. And Christ, I didn't half go on there, didn't I? But I just so this is what I'm doing, and I've found out. I actually found a clip of somebody talking in this language that's been reconstructed from the research, and it's exactly the same. And I thought, well, there you go. So if that works for ancient Egyptian and Sumerian and Mesopotamian and Assyrian, right? What about the Chinese dialects that I've got? We're working on that one. Pay attention. And what I've got, Elsa, is there's 12 spheres that have got 12 frequencies, that are 12 disciples, that are 12 skills, that are 12 potentials, blah, 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 blah. And we're all being guided now to become multiple dimension, sort of multimodal, full human beings. I'll zip up now while you say something.
I was hoping that you would do a few of the voices, because I when this all happened, we had huge craft. Like Richard and the kids had a big one come down the street at them, big blue one, as they were heading out to go to the boat. We've had another big one out the front here. We've had major ghosts, like ghosts everywhere. So they're excited as well. It's not just us excited by what has happened, it's them excited as well. And they're wanting to tap into it. It's because we were fed the dialect that it's over. And Neff said always to me, it's not what you think. Please, it's not what you think. If you knew how this is running, the two streams are running, is not what you think. So all the dialect that you've been fed and served does no longer serve you. And it's not what you think. It's not, and not like a resurrection, but it's like a resurrection. And this resin is soul sin. So you think the word sin is wrong. It's nice. It's soul see in. So the soul sees the soul. Yeah, this resin, the voice. So when I hear Dr. Joe do rock voice, it's like I'm skipping between the realms, and I'm going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Like a filofax. You remember the old back
I
in the old
remember them
day
well.
when we used paper?
Yuppie. I was a yuppie with a filofax.
And you loved them because they could spin them really far. Kids always used to break them. But yeah, so imagine it's super full one, and it's scrolls and scrolls and scrolls of dialect, and then I find when I hear the rock voice, I go, okay, now have I met them before? Has this soul met them before? And a couple of times when I hear a voice, I hear the laugh. He laughs.
Yeah.
And he's chuffed. Like he's literally, I know this, I know it. Like I just go, I know that. I know him, I know that. Like I know that chuffness. It's a familiarity. And it's cheeky and it's playful and they're playful too. And so the more and more people that are getting ignited to do this, like in these last 2 years, or you and I both seen, the more and more, all that just gets pushed over. The matrix just keeps getting pushed aside, and we now we use the matrix as a tool to like timestamp or database it back on itself. This is why this happened. This is why this happened. This is why this happened, and it will help the people that need the proof.
Well, I can feel him. I can
Yeah.
feel him. I know he's coming, and this is how it starts in me. It starts, I've mentioned to this before. It starts up my legs from the earth, right, and it goes like and gathers in the perineum, right, and then it sort of builds up from that perineum region, and then starts to come up. Then, so I think he's on his way, and this is what I've been getting as well because I've always had a black dragon, a really big beastly black dragon that's been with me all my life. I didn't realize it was there for my protection, but it protects me. So I've got this black dragon with piercing red eyes. On the left side now, I've got a small red dragon, right, which has been with me for a while now. So we've talked about that. We've talked about old Wales, New South Wales, blah 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 blah. That's all coming in. But this other one now, I got this picture of ET, ET phone home. So I get, they when he's on his cycle and they're going past the moon, that ET. So I got ET, that one, and then I got this other one, and it's the latest Godzilla, and I'm saying, is that you? Is that you? Is this picture that you're showing me now? And I got Rocket Man, Rocket Man, because he's funny, whether it's a he, she, or it is, I'm not sure. But he's funny because he's got a real earthy sense of humor, right? But what I also get is I get a split in the globe there like that for some reason, and there's like a big split going down and a great big chasm as well. So let me just sit and see if it'll come through. And I don't know because sorry, go on. Are you gonna say something?
Yeah, well, I wanted to share. I don't know if I've shared this. I think I shared it to you, but I don't know if I've shared it with the audience. Is Gigi actually drew Dr. Joe in a rock type being? She drew
I've
his.
never seen that. You've never shown me that.
But so before I even knew of you or even was on social media, she drew your face as a rock structure being. So we had Dr. Joe come through Gigi before I even knew of Dr. Joe. And I still hadn't triggered that it was Dr. Joe until the kids walked past and go, oh, that looks like Gigi's drawing. And I was like, what did you do? They said, yeah, the one with the one that's connected with a Mars or Tars, yeah. And he's got a brother. And I went, of course. And so we went through, because there's a lot of drawings to go through. And we went through and I was like, are you serious? I'll send it to you if you want to post it up because it's quite amazing that it's before we met you.
I didn't
So it's
know.
like
I didn't know. That's because I was going to say, I thought it was being a bit cheeky, but if the girls see, if Gigi sees anything, if she could send me a picture, that would be good. I didn't know one already
she's already
existed.
did it before she met you.
Right, there you go. There you
So
go
we
then.
were waiting for, and this is, so through Gigi allowing, again, her allowing, like what we've been talking about, she didn't know why she's drawing this person. She didn't know I was going to meet Dr. Joe. She didn't even know about Dr. Joe. So neither did I. So and we're talking, I think it's a few years before. Like, so this is, again, bigger than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's
But,
coming, so I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, he is. He is. What happens is I go from my nose now, where I normally speak a bit nasally. It drops down into my throat and it goes down. It's almost like to pick him up. He's in the green room, he's waiting to come in.
Well, he's heavy. Heavy.
Yeah. That's the introduction. It's almost lyran that as well. So I get the big line. Alla sebnie kruta echnúrische tedid. Loja de chur urndad a sapne hertut. Sabr urnede erchun adazan drigura mekdes. Chora orn semte ishit. Haro sur urni defan sekne urn. Chora ant ot an esapit. Najato churm ens eru en eskro ut. Mariato os. Harat nytk ut. Apart from that, it's just a normal day, really.
Yeah, just gonna make a cup of tea. I'm getting clear visuals of so um the second being is uh more advanced along than the first one, but the first one is so ancient that they have great respect for, like because it's so much wiser knowledge, but he's gruff. But the one that the second voice is from many realms forward of the first voice.
Yeah.
So that is a great respect for that one, but they're kind of they know newer stuff, newer information, but his is so great still, the first one. The first one, I see him push you out the way with his shoulders. Like he's like, get him. That's how I feel him come through. I just feel him push you out the way with his shoulders, whereas the other one feels like their intellect is so profound that they just they don't need to push you out the way. They just force their way through anyway. They kind of force their way on you a lot. It's quite interesting with you. I find that a lot with you. And because it's coming up from your feet as well. Like,
well, I feel the same way, and I go, hang on a second. We're all working together here, right? And this is
be nice.
yeah, no, I say be nice. Well, you go on too much, I guess. You go on too much. Stop speaking too much and allow us to come through. And I go, all right, hang on, hang on. Because I'm like cheeky with them now. It's a bit like the royalty, because I get Nefertari, as you know, with Ozymandias, which was basically Ramesses II, right? Because I get that link that comes in as well. And I get them coming through in very highbrow attitude, you know, and I know that you've mentioned this before, but I get, hang on, highbrows, right? It's me that's here. It's me that's here in the 3D realm, you know, so you be respectful to me, right? And so I get that as well. Well, all right, you know, stop moaning and all. So this is the conversation I have with all these things that are coming in. And I get, we're all supposed to be collaborating here and working together. You've got a certain amount of information and perception that you see, but I've got some down here. So it's me in this avatar down here that's doing the work. So all be nice, all be
Yep.
nice. And
Yeah,
that's
play
that.
nice. Play
Yeah,
nice, kids.
play nice, you know. But sometimes when they come in, it's almost like, hang on, son, you know, because they call me son now. Hang on, son, right? There is important stuff to do today. So you'll have to put that stuff aside because we've got to do this now through you. And I've got no problem with that. Now, whether I'm being possessed by evil demons, I'll stick with them because, no, honestly, Elsa, because people have said to me, you don't know who you're letting in. I have to know by the actions that are taken. And if the actions that are taken are helpful, harmless as much as possible, because sometimes I have to knock people out of the way, punching with love, I call it, you know. But if the outcome is helpful, healthy, and all that, then I'm gonna go with it, right? You know, and that's my gauge in the end is how do I know that I'm not being overtaken by evil forces because of the way that I feel? And if my heart's open and flowing, that's the only indication I've got really. And I think that that's what discernment's about. How does your heart feel, Joe? And I have a feeling like this, like two flaps there, the gates of my heart, and it goes open. And if I've got that feeling, I just take the actions that are based on that one.
I think also this comment, which we've had a lot too, and I understand where it's coming from because I too was that person, but I I don't think we'd be talking if it was, you know, it just wouldn't happen.
No.
This is what's just happened for our family. Just wouldn't happen. You know, these things that happen. They just don't happen when you're in fear state. And this voice coming through is not fear state. I do not get any fear. I have to say, when I first heard it, I was like, whoa. But that feeling of foreign is a comfortable feeling for me. Walking in the shops and people telling me not to cough, that's not a comfortable feeling. Being policed is not a comfortable feeling. It's not.
No.
Being told that I've heard someone else say that this and this, that's policing. If you're doing that, you've got to really check in on what you're doing to other people because you're not allowing them to spin. And how do you know your path doesn't need to hear that? And
I've
this
got the
is
dinosaurs with me now. All the dinosaurs, all the different ones, you know, different shapes, different sizes, different functions. Where I'm like in the moment now, my mind is in the land of the dinosaurs, and that's fine by me. These things used to terrify me as a child. When I went away to train to be, you know, I was sent away at 11 years of age to start Roman Catholic priest training, and lots of stuff was happening there, you know. And whether these were abductions or whatever, I don't know. It doesn't really bother. I'm not bothered. But there was almost like pterodactyls coming through from the night into my little cubicle that I used to sleep in and stuff like that, you know. And my mum and dad had to get me in the end because I was crying all night long because of these night terrors that were going on. And the bishop at the time said that they would pay for me to go to anywhere in the world to carry on with my priest training, you know. And I know what the reason for that is now, right? Because of my sensitivity and stuff like that. But um, I decided I wanted to stay at home, you know. And then I went from this priest training place into a Christian brothers school. And it was just fear, 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 fear all the time. I couldn't learn anything because I was so afraid of getting it wrong. And really, it's when I started drinking did that disinhibit me, and all this other stuff started to come out. That was why I got addicted to the drink, because it was a chemical way of releasing me. And almost, the Romans used to say in vino veritas, give him a few drinks and see what he's hiding, really. And all this stuff used to come out, but it was so powerful. But not only did the power come out, because people were terrified of me, when I was drinking, right? But also my mind cleared as well. And I used to write things down about how it all worked. I don't know where I'm going with this, but all I'm saying is I had to be shown how to do this naturally, right? In order to allow all this stuff to sort of come back from where it was based in time in the past to come forward now and start to work in the present moment.
So I still keep seeing you going shopping, and then you do rock voice of the ingredients that you forgot. Like I can see this, because I look at it in a playful manner too. So can you imagine, like, you have three dialects coming through at the local Audi store? Just like, because this is what so this sort of stuff happens for us, and it's funny. But what will happen is it will actually one day will be the norm.
Yeah.
And you'll imagine, right, you just walking through Audi and the rock voice comes in, and the person passing with the other trolley tells you in their rock language it's in the next aisle.
Yeah.
How cute that's going to be. This will happen one day. So this will
But when I
that
used to do Tai Chi, I used to do Tai Chi, and the bloke who was doing Tai Chi is from Hong Kong, proper Chinese Tai Chi teacher. And I used to Tai Chi, and I don't sound here. So don't you? He said, "What are you speaking like that for?" And it just used to come out. I'm thinking, Christ, I'm cracking up again. So when I was drunk, I'd go to the Chinese chippy, and all this stuff would start coming out, and I'm thinking, oh my God, And I'm in that one is there's still part of me that thinks I'm making all of this up, right? There's still a part of me that's a healthy skeptic. And you know what, Elsa? If I'm making it all up and it's all part of some sort of great big show and all that, where Dr. Joe loves to be on the stage, then so be it. I'm just going to go with it now.
well, by the works we've done together, or shows, or whatever you want to call the sharing that we've done together, has brought our son home.
Yeah.
So, as playful as we are with all this, he's brought home and he's safe. And
I'm so made up,
so
honestly.
well, this is from the people in the audience. It's from people we've done sessions with. It's from all your people as well in your audience. And I'm just saying, this is, this was, this is tugs at the heart. It does. It tugs at the heart. Tugs at the soul of us. And I don't understand why it has to be this way for our family, but the more I share, the more it heals. The more I share, the more it heals. And so I'm grateful that I've met you and that we can do this together and still smile about it.
Oh, yeah. I think my job is to take the piss, excuse the expression, but I can't help it. And yeah, I know that you've got it as well, because I see when you do that smirk, right? I think, oh look, and it gets me in trouble, right? Because I'll say it to people, right, and they've just got no idea that I'm messing about, and they take things so literally. Children take things literally because they don't understand and how to read between the lines. And I think, like you, I'm in this in between world all the time, where there's information coming in from all these different places. And sometimes it knocks me off my feet because it comes in that quickly. But I do enjoy it. And it's not meant to be offensive, but it makes me laugh. And as the joy of living, because I say, I'm not laughing with you, I'm laughing at you. They go, don't you mean laughing with me? I said, no, I'm laughing at you. And because I'm
Oh,
so cheeky with it, generally speaking, 99% of the time I get away with it. But it's the other 1% that causes all the trouble, really, you know.
well, I'm starting to think that now when I go out, I'm just going to have like a sandwich bag full of charcoal or flour. And whenever I hear someone say, like you say, oh, something about, oh, you think ETs are real? I'm going to pull it out and say, ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Just write some really ridiculous.
Don't be
Because,
so stupid. Right.
I mean,
But
how much
I have a laugh.
information do you need?
Yeah. But it's so, isn't it? It's piling in that quickly now. But I would say to people, please don't believe a single word I say. And this is what we've said before, unless it rings true with you. It's got a true ring, you know, because we've done that ring one. I'm not going there with that one because that's a different story. That's when the planets collide and your head's up Uranus and stuff like that, you know. But if it rings true and it sits deep within you and it feels correct, then that may possibly be the truth for you, right? But if it doesn't, discard it by all means, but don't completely block it because it may be coming back in another circle and it may mean something completely different tomorrow, really. So I think that that's what the difference between having an open mind is and having a broad mind, because broad
Yeah.
minds can know a lot of stuff but still are blocked from new information coming in. And that's where I got fooled a lot at the time. I thought that academic people knew what was going on. And because I work with them now and I see it in a different light, most of them haven't got a clue. And
Well, well,
I'm going now to the university. I've got a 3 hour workshop coming up, right? And I'll have all this prehistoric stuff going on in my head while they're all being very responsible and doing big words and stuff like that, you know.
our kids have learnt how to play Jurassic Park theme on the piano.
Right.
And so if they only just learned it this week, so you'll be at the university hearing the music, you know, and then they do all the dinosaur noises while they're playing the piano. So it's so funny, and I can see this will be going on in your head while you're at the university trying to keep a straight face.
Oh, well, I can now. I can sort of. I never used to be able to because you could tell exactly, but I've learned now through this to drop into it and just be like stone faced, really.
Yeah, I'm not. I still get the giggle. So
Elsa, I'll have to
I'm so
go.
glad I saw. I know. I know. I'm so happy,
I've got to
happy,
go and
happy
see my
birthday.
mum. My mum's been up and down, you know, but she's another one. My mother, she's got a hell of a sense of humor. She's been lying down flat for 3 weeks. And when I went to see her last time, she's back up in the chair, you know, eating chocolate and crisps and stuff like this, you know. So I don't know what's going on. She's coming up to 93 years of age, right? And, you know, she's my mum and I love her. And I'll go and see her
Mm.
now and see how she's getting on.
Oh, we'll give her a hug for me too. So
I will. I will. And thank Richard very much for reconnecting us. And I must talk next time we speak. I must talk about musculoskeletal problems because you mentioned neck, right?
mm.
I'll just talk about it now. There's a great big con job going on where people are being injected with Botox or Botox all over the place. What that actually does is there's 12 cranial nerves associated with the way that we move our face. So smiling and the way we move our face and our tongue and everything. That's all connected as well to reconnecting with these streams of consciousness. I'll just give us a bit of a clue here. So anything that actually freezes the face, it stops facial expression, it obstructs the flow of new intelligences coming in, right? So it's almost like it's an ego thing. And I hope I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but I'm just going with what's been shown that the 12 cranial nerves direct the flow of information throughout your whole energetic structure. So really, if your face is really stuck, right, you can't actually get it in. So you can't relax back into natural flow. So something to consider as well, really.
Yeah, well, it's stopping nerves. It stops the antennas. Really, correct?
Yeah. So what's happening
We
is the magnetism that's coming in. Sorry to put it. The magneto-electric effect. So the solar radiation that's coming in is magnetic. It's causing our electrical system and our nerves to be extra stimulated, and that information is trying to get through to our musculoskeletal system in order for us to relax. So in the end, the radiation coming in has basically got to work through every cell of our body to radiate outwards. And that's what's actually going to be carrying the new message that's coming through as well.
Well, I'll just say one thing. Jerry, who is she's like the one of the oldest oversouls in the Dillon family. She's had Pleiadian connections, and she just talks to. She's very wise. Anyway, she said, "Mum, you know that you're supposed to really massage your face." And I went, "What do you mean?" And she said, "No, you're not doing it hard enough." And it's funny because as a female, we've been told not to squeeze your face. And she said, if you want to, she said, watch this lady over a period of 2 weeks. And she was massaging here, the laugh lines on her face, and massaging them really hard and getting it all moving, and also lying upside down so all the blood rushes to her head on a daily practice, and really massaging and doing funny mouth expressions. And you can see her face, she looks younger in 2 weeks. And she said, this is what women need to do, not freeze their face. They need to do the opposite of that. They need to get it circulating more. And so I was like, Jerry, that's very profound. So
Well, I teach
she
Indian
does it every day.
We teach. I teach Indian head massage, or I used to when I had time, But we work on a lot of the energy points here, all the way around, all the way through the scalp, under the cheekbones here,
Yeah.
but especially at the nose there, like that, where it pushes into biting these insides of teeth as well, So it's all that really. But laughing, laughing is the best form of medicine, really, because it sort of opens up the whole face. But maybe on our next one, right? We'll go on and I think.
Yeah.
But that I just thought I'd mention that in the end, that this is a restoration and a return to natural beauty as well, because about
Yeah.
beauty, goodness, and truth, they're the sort of watchwords and the principles that we're being guided into, really.
Yeah.
Elsa, I love you. I love your family. I love our chats. And I hope everybody's enjoyed this. I have to play it back to see what we've been going on about. But, and I get more information that comes through. So thank you for being you. And I'm so glad about the news. And
Yeah.
regards to all your family. And I'll speak to you next time.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Thanks, everybody. I've got to go and see me mum. Bye bye.